Howdy howdy legends, Zephyr here and welcome back to another Apex Legends Pro Guides video. Now there is a lot of abilities in Apex these days, and we've rated every single ability on every single legend. Join us as we work through the comprehensive Apex Legends ability tier list. But first, our question of the day. If you could rework one ability in Apex, what would it be and why? Let me know in the comment section below. Bloodhound. Eye of the Allfather. A tier. Bloodhound scan gathers easy information, but it doesn't last very long. Tracker. B tier. The tracker can be useful, but sometimes the information is pretty useless and it isn't always effective. Finally, Beast of the Hunt. A tier. Now this ultimate is strong and the extra speed makes you hard to hit, and the heat vision helps you spot enemies at a distance and counters things like Bangalore smoke. It is, however, pretty loud. No sneaking up on anybody. Do you need help advancing to the next level in Apex? Tired of being stuck in the lower ranks? ProGuides' expert Apex Predator coach is on deck to advance your gameplay. They can help spot flaws, give detailed knowledge, and direct you on to best spend your time to take your Apex ability to the next level. ProGuides is your one-stop shop for all things Apex Legends, as well as high-quality coaches, their in-game tips, tricks, and guides suitable for any level of player. So, whatever your gameplay needs, we've got you covered. Why not sit down with an Apex Predator and get their input on some of the best abilities in Apex? With their help, you'll be climbing the ranks in no time, no matter the legend you're using. Check out the link in the description, and let's go! Gibraltar. Dome of Protection. S tier. Pros and Predator players love this ability. It's versatile and strong. Use it offensively or defensively, and I'll tell you what, it's one of the strongest abilities in the game. Gun Shield. A tier. The gun shield is very strong. It allows Gibraltar to outrange damage, however, it's bright and can be shot through doors. Defensive Bombardment. A tier. The defensive bombardment is very strong. It can deal massive damage, and it's great for defending yourself when someone is on top of your position or pushing you. Lifeline. The DOC heal drone. C tier. Everyone loves a little bit of the life drone suck, but this ability is pretty weak outside of certain scenarios. Combat Medic. D tier. Her revive passive is totally surpassed by Newcastle, Gibraltar, and I'd say probably even Mirage. Care Package. F tier. This is just useless, especially on maps like Stormpoint with greater loot. Pathfinder. Grapple Hook. B tier. The grapple is a pretty reliable ability and it's good for escaping or making offensive plays. However, the cooldown is pretty rough if you hit an especially fat grapple. Insider Knowledge. F tier. This passive, it doesn't even make sense anymore. It's about time that Pathfinder got a real passive. Zipline Gun. B tier. The zipline can be really good, especially if you cheese it and place two side by side. However, if you are spotted on it, you can be lasered. Wraith. Into the Void. B tier. This ability has been nerfed and nerfed over time. It's a decent escape in situations, but you can easily be followed, and as the maps get bigger, the phase distance gets weaker and weaker. Voices from the Void. D tier. I gotta ask, has this ever been useful for anyone? I've literally watched my teammates get Krabered in the head and die. And then Wraith says, there may be a sniper in the area. Trash. Dimensional Rift. A tier. The portal is strong, and unlike the phase breach, it can be placed beyond anywhere in a straight line. Bangalore. Smoke Launcher. B tier. It's a pretty strong ability, but it is weak against scans. Might be nice that it does damage though. Double Time. B tier. Honestly, this does make you hard to hit, but the weird speed boost can sometimes mess up your aim. Rolling Thunder. B tier. Strong at what it is meant to do, which is holding enemies away from you and denying space. However, it doesn't necessarily get kills or do big damage like the defensive bombardment on Gibraltar. Caustic. Nox Gas Trap. A tier. The gas barrels have been nerfed, but they're still very strong. They can be used to block doors and slow enemies and deal pretty hefty damage when activated. Nox Vision. B tier. It's alright, can be replicated by a digi threat, and honestly, the gas isn't that hard to see in anyway, but it's still helpful. Nox Gas Grenade, A tier. Now this ultimate is really strong, deals big ramping damage, and can be thrown a considerable distance. Mirage, Psych Out, F tier. I mean, let's just not. Now You See Me, C tier. Honestly, it's decent. Pulling off an invisible revive is pretty strong and technically arguably better than Lifeline. Life of the Party, D tier. Sometimes this can be good. Like, I'm telling you, sometimes. If you play it to its maximum, you can catch people out. Octane, Stim, C tier. This is decent, but it's loud and you take a lot of damage. Don't stim yourself to death. Swift Mend, C tier. It's decent, but slow and nothing to really shout about. Launchpad, B tier. Now this is a solid ability. Gone are its S tier days with the ultra silent sneak attack jump pads, but it's still a solid way to close the gap or escape. Watson, Perimeter Security, B tier. Watson's fences are S tier if the enemy is hit by them. Solid damage and a big stun time. However, the fences aren't going to surprise anyone and they're pretty easily destroyed. Spark of Genius, C tier. The shield regen is pretty slow, and her passive to stack ultimate accelerants and recharge her ult in one go can be useful, but it really isn't anything to write home about. Interceptor Pylon, B tier. Now this is much improved, but it is easily destroyed and it's hard to hide because of its size. Crypto, Surveillance Drone, B tier. The drone is strong, but it can be destroyed pretty easily, and it also leaves Crypto vulnerable to attack, but can grab banners, open doors, and revive teammates. Neuralink, B tier. Most people won't even know what this does. It allows teammates to see what the drone scans. Drone EMP, B tier. If you get the EMP off, it can be a strong entry push, but it does require a coordinated team. Still, strong for leveling up Evo shields potentially. Remnant, Silence, B tier. Ironically named, this ability is deafening. The silence is actually a counter to almost every legend in the game, and it deals damage. The effect also lasts a long time. Where it loses points is that it's hard to aim and easily avoided. Stalker, C tier. This is a pretty situational ability that will pay off every now and then, but it isn't going to be a regular game changer. Death Totem, C tier. The Death Totem used to be feared, but now it's loud and attracts a lot of attention. Sometimes it can be effective, but it's not consistent. Loba, Burglar's Best Friend, B tier, when it works. If Respawn didn't break this ability every season, that would personally be great. Loba's Bracelet is decent, it can be tracked thanks to the trail it leaves, but thankfully you can move while you wait for it to land now. Eye for Quality, C tier. Every now and then you'll spot something you would have missed, but if you know where the loot is at any POI, it's a pretty average ability. Black Market Boutique, B tier. Sometimes very strong. On World's Edge and sweaty endgames, this ability will be great, but on bigger maps or in situations where you aren't surrounded by teams, it loses its value. Great for sneakily grabbing care package weapons though. Rampart, Amped Cover, A tier. Honestly, the latest changes made this ability strong. Now it's hard to destroy and versatile. Modded Loader, C tier. Alright, well, the extra few bullets won't make a big difference outside of particularly a few situations. Minigun Sheila, B tier. The Sheila is deadly, but the slow strafe speed and spin up time can get you killed. When used correctly though, it's a great ability. Horizon, Gravity Lift, A tier. Useful for escaping and reaching new places. It's not as good as the original version, but still pretty powerful. Spacewalk, B tier. Where this ability is most useful I find is off drop. If I'm surrounded by 129 people at frag, I'll never miss out on the weapon in front of me because I don't get stunned when I land. Black Hole, S tier. Going to say S tier if paired with nades. It's very powerful and it takes time to destroy. Plus, it can delay, pin, or shred any team. Fuse, Knuckle Cluster, A tier. Annoying as anything to be subjected to. It does a lot of damage, can destroy doors, plus it has a solid cooldown and gives you an ordnance all game long. Grenadier, C tier. It's alright, but its strength depends on the size of your backpack. The Motherlode, B tier. Sometimes great, sometimes average. The wall hacks you get on anyone inside make for some interesting plays, but in theory, you can put your Motherlode on the roof of a building and everyone inside will be scanned. Valkyrie, Missile Swarm, A tier. Stuns and does damage, and it's easy enough to aim. And when you get the knack of them, they're going to be very strong. VTOL Jets, A tier. Great for maneuvering, and you can use them to escape, take height, or reposition. When spammed, they also give you great speed too. Skyward Dive, S tier. This ability has changed Apex forever. Faster rotates, reaching new spots, getting out of sticky situations. Even with this spinning nerf, it is still amazing. You can even deploy yourself as a mini UAV. Seer, Focus of Attention, C tier. Now this ability is hard to hit, and it used to be insane, but when utilized right, it can give big information, but honestly, it's pretty niche. Heartseeker, C tier. Sometimes great, but it's a tad bit confusing and requires you to be ADS'd in. Exhibit, B tier. Honestly, it would be A tier if it wasn't a please third party me symbol. If you get an isolated fight off with this ult, it can be very strong. Ash, Arc Snare, B. The Arc is a strong ability and someone tethered is dead meat if you have a line of sight on them. The distance it travels is strong, but you have to consider it slow. Marked for Death, C tier. Honestly, I forget I can even use this. It's alright, but only really good when chasing a rat. Phase Breach, A tier. Very strong and much easier to aim now. It does go away quickly and it is loud. Plus, it can't be placed around corners, but it is an instant deploy. Mad Maggie, Riot Drill, B tier. The cooldown on this ability is insane. You get this drill pretty fast, and if you catch someone, it does insane damage. Warlord's Ire, D tier. Honestly, shotguns already pull out very fast, and the habit of not running with your gun is hard to combat. Wrecking Ball, C tier. This can be decent, but I don't know about you. The loud audio and weird slidey feeling of the booster pads can disrupt aim. Newcastle, Mobile Shield, A tier. The shield has a lot of health and it can be maneuvered. It's not quite as strong as the Gibby Bubble though. Retrieve the Wounded, A tier. Now this ability just relegates Lifeline to the trash heap. Strong, and you can grab your stupid teammate and drag them behind cover. Castle Wall, A tier. Now this boy can leap. The walls have a lot of health and are electrified. It can be bypassed and makes you vulnerable from the sky and behind, but when combined with the mobile shield, Newcastle becomes a very strong choice. Whew. All right. Which ability would you rank at the top of your own ability tier list and why? Once again, I've been Zephyr and we've been ProGuides, and we'll see you soon for more Apex Legends content.